there comes a moment sooner or later when every mask slips. Not in public, but in the privacy of your own mind, when the applause dies down and the lights go out, and you catch yourself in a mirror you cannot lie to. Tell me honestly, have you ever wondered who you really are beneath the habits, the roles, the polite answers you hand out like business cards? This is not a place for gentle reassurance. Here we strip away the armor, the camouflage, and every label you've used to feel safe. Because what's left when all disguises fail is the raw blueprint of your power and your vulnerability. If you feel a twinge of discomfort, good. That's the first sign you're ready to stop performing and start uncovering the machinery that truly drives you. Stay with me. Because what comes next is not for the faint-hearted. But for those who dare, there is a map, one drawn by centuries of cunning survival and ruthless honesty. A map that leads straight to the core of who you are and what you might become. Look around you, or better yet, look within. Every day you step onto a stage built from silent expectations, your own, your family's, your tribes, the entire machinery of society. You play the hero, the loyal follower, the rebel, the quiet observer sometimes. All in a single afternoon. But what if I told you, beneath every performance there is a pulse, a restless, shifting drive, sometimes hunger, sometimes fear, sometimes pure ambition that has nothing to do with what the world demands, and everything to do with what you crave, what you dread, what you refuse to admit even to yourself. We are all at our core, both architects and prisoners of these invisible motives. You may believe you're unique, a wild outlier in a world of sheep, or perhaps you hide behind the lie of being average. Either way, it's another mask. What truly sets you apart isn't what you pretend to be, but the collection of silent deals you strike with yourself each morning. Who do I need to be to survive today? Who must I become to win, to belong, to keep my secrets safe? No label, no test, no clever category can contain the full violence and beauty of that inner struggle. You are not a single story. Inside you, three forces wage a silent war for dominance, sometimes allies, more often rivals. The first is your animal core. Raw, stubborn, ancient. It is the pulse in your veins, the hunger in your gut, the rush of adrenaline before a threat or a chance. You can dress it up, give it polite names, call it instinct, temperament, wiring, but when survival is on the line, this root always has a vote. The second is the law of the tribe. This is the script handed to you by your clan, your culture, the rules you absorb before you can speak. You learn what earns applause, what brings exile, what dangers to avoid, what sacrifices buy love. You become fluent in the unspoken currency of acceptance. But every transaction costs you a piece of yourself. And then the third, that flicker of rebellion. The wild card, your personal code. The secret mission that won't let you rest even when you've mastered every other game. This is where your power lies if you're brave enough to claim it. Not in being a perfect product of biology, not in fitting the mold, but in listening to that defiant signal. This is who I am. This is what I must do, even if no one else understands. Your life is the battlefield where these three fight, bargain, and occasionally conspire. Who wins on any given day? That's the story of your identity, and if you dare, the key to your own private empire. Forget the labels you've learned. Introvert, extrovert, agreeable, rebel. All of it just shorthand for a way to survive a method to navigate the power grid you live inside. Some crave the heat of crowds. Their energy ignites where noise and risk collide. Every handshake, a negotiation, every glance, a potential alliance or threat. They feast on stimulus, move quickly, speak boldly, and burn bright, sometimes too bright, sometimes reckless. These are the social hunters, the ones who would rather risk being wrong than fade into the background, their danger burning out before the game is won. Others thrive in the hush, the slow simmer of solitary calculation. They spot patterns while the herd is distracted. Their words are fewer but land with weight. Their greatest risk, mistaking silence for safety, letting caution choke out their own ambition. And there are those whose strength is in the art of blending. They sense tension, smooth it over trade, small concessions for bigger moves down the line. Peacekeepers, perhaps. But even peace can be a weapon when wielded by a strategist. Then come the ones for whom anxiety is a sixth sense, a radar for hidden threats. They spot cracks before others notice the wall is crumbling. That edge, if controlled, keeps them alive. Uncontrolled, it can turn every opportunity into a warning, every ally into a shadow. See yourself yet. No one is just one thing. We cycle through strategies, sometimes by choice, sometimes by instinct, always by necessity. Your advantage comes not from clinging to a single style, but from learning which mask to drop, which move to play, and when to walk away before the cost becomes too high. Every one of us is running secret missions, some noble, some desperate, some so private even we can't say them aloud. These are not goals you post on your wall or brag about at parties. They're the personal projects, quiet obsessions, burning questions, the unfinished business that drags you out of bed and keeps you pacing in the dark. You might be the silent parent waging war in hospital corridors for your child's future. You might be fighting for respect, for recognition, for the right to carve out a space that feels like yours in a world built for someone else. Sometimes these missions force you to act out of character. You play the villain in someone else's story. You become aggressive in rooms where you're expected to nod and smile. You break rules that everyone else seems content to follow. Don't be fooled. It's not your public image that defines you, but the lengths you'll go to for what truly matters. The mask slips not because you're tired of pretending, but because someone means enough to override your default settings. These moments, that's when power is real. Not a title, not a trait, but the ability to bend, to break, to reinvent yourself for the sake of a cause that won't let you rest. You want to know who you really are. Ask yourself, what project would you betray your own comfort for? What cause would you become a stranger to yourself to achieve? That's the axis of your true identity. And that is where your Machiavellian map begins. There is a price for every disguise. You can play the part, master the script smile, when you want to scream, show strength, when all you feel is fear. Sometimes that is survival. Sometimes it's how you win. But wear the mask too long and it fuses to your skin. You start to forget where the act ends and the real you begins. Your laughter becomes a habit. Your anger turns into a rumor. You become a stranger to your own reflection. Power gained this way is always brittle. You can fool the world, hell, you can fool yourself for a while. But sooner or later the debts come due. Exhaustion creeps in sickness of the soul, the slow leak of meaning. You hide in bathrooms, duck out of parties, find yourself praying for a moment of silence that never lasts long enough. This is not weakness. This is the natural law of the psyche. Push too far from your center, and you snap. You start losing the battles that matter most, the ability to think clearly, to feel anything real, to know why you're still fighting. True power isn't about living out of character forever. It's knowing when to step back, to repair, to remember what you once stood for before the world started applauding the mask. So ask yourself, where have you gone too far in your performance? What would it cost to return, to drop the armor just for a moment, and remember the sound of your own true voice? In the end, it's never about the mask or the label, or how well you fit the world's script. The real question is always the same. Will you command your own story, or surrender the pen to someone else? Machiavelli knew power is not handed out to the innocent or the oblivious. It goes to those who dare to strip themselves bare, to see every flaw, every shadow, and still choose to act. To those who wield their own contradictions as tools, not shackles. Your essence is not static. It's a kingdom you build and lose and build again, brick by brutal brick. Every day you choose hide and let circumstance dictate your fate. Or unmask, risk the discomfort, face the rawness, and seize the power that comes only to those who refuse to be defined by anyone but themselves. Ask yourself before you sleep tonight, what part of me did I betray today, and what did I gain for it? Did I choose comfort or truth? Did I rule myself, or did I let the world rule me? That is the only map that matters, and the only question worth living for.